Well, it's all about the election. We know that. And look at these new Fox News power rankings polls that we've got. It shows Trump is leading Biden on most of the key issues, Newt, ahead of the November election. Voters think Trump will handle crime, foreign policy, the economy, the border better than Biden. But Biden leads Trump on abortion rights. And this is a good one. Look at this. He beats Trump on protecting democracy. That is really a head scratcher there to me. Trump's campaign and the Republican National Committee, meanwhile, launched a new Swamp the Vote USA initiative. This is encouraging Republicans to, quote, use every appropriate tool to beat the Democrats, including early voting, mail-in ballots, absentee ballots. This is important, Speaker. And to hear Trump encouraging all of this is also important. Early voting, starts in September.
Look, I'm very, very happy that President Trump has embraced the idea that you have to win under the rules as they exist. And the fact is that early voting matters. Republicans, as a goal, should try to win the vote on the first day and the second day and every single day. I think the president has shown real leadership in trying to shift the entire culture of the Republican Party, which historically liked to vote on Election Day. But we learned in 2022, you can't give the Democrats the first 6 weeks of voting and then try to play catch up on Election Day. And I think what the president's doing, every Republican and every conservative should take note. We want to vote early. We want to vote in every system that's available. And we want to make sure that if there's a drop box or there's any other kind of ballot, that we are monitoring it. We're making sure that only legal votes count, and we're making sure that the system works. This is a huge undertaking to protect democracy from a Democratic Party which has routinely cheated and which will cheat again if it can.
Well, I mean, what about, proof of citizenship to vote? Would that materialize in increasing numbers of states? I mean, I don't understand this, adamant position that Merrick Garland has taken. He says we're vowing to fight voter ID. Why?
Well, because they don't want you to. It's pretty obvious. If you actually get to identify the voters, you shrink the potential voters to people who are legally voters.
Wow.
And they're counting on they're counting on voting illegal aliens. They're counting on voting people who aren't registered.
Yeah.
And in some places, they're counting on voting them 3 or 4 times.
Well, look, Hunter Biden's federal gun charge trial set to resume in about an hour, less than an hour, in Delaware. FBI Special Agent Erica Jensen is returning to the stand for cross-examination. She was assigned to the case last year to link Hunter's drug use to the time that he bought the firearm, using his book and bank records showing Hunter withdrew massive sums of cash. Prosecutors are introducing a federal firearm form. They did so yesterday, which asks if the gun buyer used illegal drugs. Hunter's form is marked no. His infamous laptop was also brought into evidence. Politico is reporting that Biden and his family were involved in brief discussions early in the term, in Biden's term, about not seeking re-election to ease the burden on his son. Speaker, I want you to give me your take on this. And also, here's John Ratcliffe with me on Sunday, connecting the dots of this laptop introduction as evidence. Watch this.
Well, Maria, you already pointed out the irony of 4 years after the Trump administration officially told you that Hunter Biden's laptop was not Russian disinformation, the Biden administration, through their Justice Department, now has to authenticate that laptop in a case against Joe Biden's son. The irony there is rich, but the most important thing is this, Maria. By authenticating that laptop and acknowledging that it's true, what are the consequences of that, right? Because what Alvin Bragg said and what the White House has now endorsed in saying that this was a legitimate conviction of Donald Trump was Alvin Bragg said the crime here was that Donald Trump hid damaging information from the voting public during the 2016 presidential election. So what about all the people that hid damaging information in the form of the laptop during the 2020 election?
Newt, I think John Ratcliffe makes a great point here. Okay, here we're talking about Trump. He just got convicted because apparently he wrote something in the legal books called legal expense, and they're saying that he was hiding information from the public. What about all these efforts to hide everything before elections? You had 51 intelligence officials signing their name to a letter that Anthony Blinken created. How come he's not getting charged? What about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden? I mean, he makes a really good point.
Look, I mean, what you know, and this goes back to what I said at the very beginning. Joe Biden's career is lies. He routinely lies. We don't know if Hunter gets off because he's in Delaware and the Bidens basically own Delaware. What we do know is that Joe Biden's entire career has had a long series of lies, and that the entire Hunter Biden laptop issue wasn't just a lie.
Right.
It was the methodical exploitation of intelligence officials by the current Secretary of State, who not only should not be in office because he's dangerous, as John McCain said, but he's the guy who organized the lie. It's astonishing, and historians will look back at the degree to which the Biden administration was founded on lies, sustained by lies, and is now trying to destroy its opponent in a way that violates the Constitution.
I mean, it truly is astounding. Real quick, before you go, do you want to say anything about this lead story in the Wall Street Journal today? And here's the headline. Behind closed doors, Biden shows signs of slipping. Participants in meetings said the 81-year-old president performed poorly at times. The White House said Biden is sharp, and his critics are playing partisan politics. Lead story in the Journal today.
I think every American looking at Ukraine, at Gaza, at Taiwan, and realizing that our foreign competitors are watching a president who's so weak, so confused, and so uncertain, this Biden makes the world dramatically more dangerous. And as a matter of survival, I think Americans have to replace him. I think this is way beyond politics.
Yeah.
It is frightening.
Do you think
the commander-in-chief
will he withdraw?
who is this out of touch?
Do you think he'll withdraw before the November election?
Of
Some
course
people
not.
think so.
Why would he?
Some people think he will.
Why would he withdraw?
Okay.
Look, he's got the White House, Air Force One, Marine One. What is he going to do if he withdraws?
Yeah, unless
he
he's
can't
forced to
bicycle
withdraw.
every day.
Unless he's forced to withdraw, and that's what's behind this story.
No, I think he'll get defeated. No, he will be defeated, but it'll be in the general election.
Okay.
I don't think the Democrats can stop him from being nominated.
Mr. Speaker, you're an incredible strategist as well. Add that to the resume. We so appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, Newt.